Hey, party people. Welcome back to the hair series. How many have I done so far? I don't know. I can't keep track. Whatever. I did a bunch of these. I'm going to post the links of the previous videos in the info box below. I highly recommend that you watch at least the first one, the one on hair rendering basics, because if you don't, you might get a little bit lost in the instructions. As you know, when I do marker renderings on marker paper, I like to I like to draw on the wrong side and marker on the right side. Today, we're gonna go over some curly hairstyles, curly, wavy, kinky hairstyles. So basically, when we did our hair renderings, it was treat hair as a shape, not as a million strands of hair. Render in the direction hair grows, hit the highlights across the direction of the hair in a zigzag shape. Hit the darkest parts of your hair at the roots, at the tips, and on the insides by your neck and ears. And we're going to add another one to that. So basically, when you're treating curly or wavy hair, what you're going to do is you're going to highlight as it curves towards the light and then darken the hair as it recedes from the light. So highlight, shadow, like so. Just like we've been doing with gathers in fabric, you're going to do the highlight, shadow with hair. So we'll start with something easy, something just softly wavy. And again, I like the brush tips for hair renderings. It helps with that light, feathery, marker stroke that I like for hair. So start at the roots. Let's pretend there's your light source. And then this part is going to be highlighted. And then as it curls away from the light, there's no highlight. This section is going to get the highlight because it's curving towards the light. And then this section is going to be away from the light. And then this is another highlight towards the light. And then the tip. I'm going to take my color pencil. Oh no, that's too dark. It's kind of purpley. Ooh, I like that. Test twice, marker once. Measure twice, cut once. Test twice, marker once. Test twice, paint once. That's like everything. Never be in such a hurry that you just keep messing up and have to redo it, because that's slower. It's faster to do it right the first time. Okay, and make sure in the areas that curl in that you have the darkest spots. And then the tips, the roots are very dark. Spaces around the neck and the ears are really dark. The highlights, it's broken up with some pencil line and some marker strokes, but the highlight is very obvious where they are. And then again, add some wisps so it doesn't look like helmet hair. Right? And then you have nice, gentle, wavy hair. Now, when you're doing curly hair, anything curlier, it's the same, but just more highlights and more shadows. Roots, let's say your light source is over here. So there's your highlight, and this is where it recedes. Keep those light, feathery strokes and keep rendering in the direction hair grows. And so again, as it recedes, it's going to be dark. And leave that highlight there, and then this is going to be highlight. I don't know if you've noticed, but I make a lot of weird noises when I render. So highlight, and then close, it's darker. And then again, since your light is on this side, my highlights on this side are a little bit smaller, a little bit more subdued. And so, yeah, you know, it does take longer than the straight hair because you have to, you know, consider all the highlights and shadows, but it shouldn't take that much longer. It should still be pretty quick. And then with light hair like this, I like to take a pencil and just kind of punch out the shape. So with the highlight and the shadow, you're really creating those curves and making your hair look shiny and glossy. When you have something like finger waves like those old school like 20s, like Great Gatsby era hairstyles, they don't really stick out from the hair. They're more like close and curl along the hair. And so I would, this is her light source, you know, I would create a highlight along the top, like along the top of her head, but I wouldn't highlight the curls because they are flat against her head. Right? But I'm still going to render in the direction of my hair so that I'm getting those marker strokes to inform me of the hairstyle. Add a little bit of texture. And this hairstyle doesn't have a lot of wisps because it's like kind of gelled really close to the head. Shirley Temple curls. So basically, Shirley Temple curls are the curls that are look like tubes. They just look like cylinders, and you know what happens when light hits the cylinder. Here's your highlight, here's your shadow. So you're going to do that with each ringlet, but you know, softly, more organic. It's not literally a tube. So since your hair is going this way, your highlights are running this way. Ew. See, one of the reasons why I like drawing on the wrong side and rendering on the right side is I don't have to worry about pencil lead getting into my marker tips. But should that happen, you need to take a scrap and wipe it off. Again, I'm rendering in the direction of the hair. Cute little bangs. And I'm going to have the highlight across the bangs. This hair is coming around. It's all very Little Women, Shirley Temple. Maybe a little house on the prairie. Cute, right? Oh, that is cute. I need to do more kid renderings. I forgot how cute and fun they are. Let's do an afro. The curliest of them all. Now, for the afro, what I like to do is I like to very lightly draw in a basic shape for the fro. And then I like to take a brush tip and I like to stamp it in. So you're just giving me this like super curly texture. And the way fros work is the hair is densest the closer it is to the head. You know, much like any other hairstyle, you know, hair is denser and closer together, closer to your head, and then it kind of feathers out. And so you need to make sure that the hair close to the head is really jam-packed, and then you can get a little bit looser as you render out. I still don't want you to, I don't want you to make me a lollipop. That's really nice for really graphic styles of illustration, but that's not, I mean, unless you're really going for that for the whole look, super flat and graphic, but don't give me any lollipops. Then I would take my black color pencil and I would fill in some of this stuff with the hair texture. And, you know, I've seen loose fros that are more about like tight curls. And then I've seen fros that really kind of do look like a lollipop. They're like perfectly groomed and rather stiff. I've seen all different kinds depending on, you know, the person's personal style. I need to go read a thesaurus. I kind of like the looser look. Just looks kind of sexy, like this little bit, you know, bedheady. And then when you do the skin, whether you do it before or after, you want to make sure that the skin kind of goes in here in the gaps so that you don't have. I know. I keep promising you face videos and I'm going to give them to you. I promise. In a minute. I'm kind of really enjoying the hair thing right now. And then the last thing I want to do is crimps. Okay, crimps. Crimps are kind of nasty looking. Ugh. Can we just agree never to make crimps fashionable ever again? Can we just do that? Like, do I have to pass around a petition? I will. I would totally do that. All right, so waves, curls, ringlets, afros, fun stuff. Doesn't take that much longer than straight hair. Just a tiny bit more effort. But once you understand the basic rules of hair rendering, piece of cake, practice, come back, hit the subscribe button so you get an alert from my next in the hair series, which is going to cover cornrows and braids and dreads. And then the video after that is going to be facial and body hair and super short hair, things like that. So I will see you next time. Go practice.